श्री गौर निताई की, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।
भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो 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 भगवते वासुदेवाय.
We'll be reading from Bhagavad-gita as it is, chapter 18, text 64 and 65. It's on page 848, towards the end. It's 18 chapters in Bhagavad-gita. Is anybody here coming for the first time? Hare Krishna, welcome to International Society for Krishna Consciousness, New Jersey. Where are you from, Prabhu?
Straight across Liverpool, New York.
Oh, really? That's kind of far, isn't it?
Quite far.
Yeah, so it's very nice that you came. It's you can see it's a very family-oriented environment. Everybody knows each other, so we like to know all our friends who come and visit us to worship the Lord together. So I'm going to read just those 2 verses, and then we'll discuss the purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I'll read one line, and then you can follow after me. Sarvaguhyatamam bhuya Shृणु me paramam vacha Ishtosi me dridamiti Tato vakshyami te hitam Sarvaguhyatamam bhuya Shृणु me paramam vacha Ishtosi me dridamiti Tato vakshyami te hitam Sarvaguhyatamam bhuya Shृणु me paramam vacha Ishtosi me dridamiti Tato vakshyami te hitam
Sarvaguhyatamam bhuya Shृणु me paramam vacha Ishtosi me dridamiti Tato vakshyami te hitam
Sarvaguhyatamam bhuya Shृणु me paramam vacha Ishtosi me dridham iti Tato bhakshayami te hitam
Sarvaguhyatam bhuya Shृणु me paramam vacha Ishtosi me dridhamiti Tato vakshyami te hitam Sarvaguhyatam bhuya Shृणु me paramam vacha Ishtosi me dridhamiti Tato vakshyami te hitam
Sarvaguhyatamam, the most confidential of all. Bhuya, again. Shṛణu, just here. Me, from me. Paramam, the supreme. Vachaha, instruction. Ishtasi, you are dear. Me, to me. Dhridam, very. Iti, thus. Tata, therefore. Vakshyami, I am speaking. Te, for your. Hitam, benefit. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Purport. The Lord has given Arjuna knowledge that is confidential, knowledge of Brahman, and still more confidential, knowledge of the super soul within everyone's heart. And now he is giving the most confidential part of knowledge. Just surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the end of the 9th chapter, he has said, Man Mana, just always think of me. The same instruction is repeated here to stress the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad-gita. This essence is not understood by a common man, but by one who is actually very dear to Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. This is the most important instruction in all Vedic literature. What Krishna is saying in this connection is the most essential part of knowledge, and it should be carried out not only by Arjuna, but by all living entities. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Translation. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Purport. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is the dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands, carrying a flute, a bluish boy with a beautiful face, and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in the Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on this original form of Godhead, Krishna. One should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multi-forms, as Vishnu, Narayan, Ram, Varaha, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge. And this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I want to thank everyone for coming. I also want to thank the devotees here for encouraging the junior devotees to speak. It's nice that everybody gets a chance to speak. That way it forces also us to read these books, otherwise just collect dust in our shelves. So I have to at least, instead of pretending, I have to read a little bit also. So I'm very thankful that this temple is just like a family, and all the little children also get to speak a little bit. So if I make any mistakes, please correct me. So here Lord Krishna is giving Arjuna two main points. What are the main points? Is that first of all, this is the 18th chapter, and 18th chapter is the last one in the Bhagavad-gita. And the last one contains all the conclusions. When the final instruction is given, then that is the essence or the conclusion of all the instructions that are previously given. So the last chapter should be understood very thoroughly, just like all the other chapters. But this one he's saying, I am telling you this because, why? Because you are my dear friend. In both the verses, one after another, he said the same point. Because you are my dear friend, I'm speaking to you this supreme secret, confidential knowledge. Second verse. I promise you this because you are my friend. Again, same thing. So now there's two things. The qualification and the process. The process is what? Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and pay your homage unto me. That is the process. But you can't just follow this process whimsically. You have to be qualified. What is the qualification? Qualification is you need to have a, PhD? No. You need to be a friend, and you need to be a devotee. He's totally devoted. And who is he speaking to? Who is Lord Krishna speaking to? He's speaking to Arjuna. Arjuna is a friend of Krishna, everybody knows that. He's one of the Pandavas who are very dear to Krishna. But Arjuna especially. See, he explained this because Arjuna was 24 hours Krishna conscious. Like Prabhupada always said, even in this purport, he said, one should be 24 hours Krishna conscious. Now, how many hours do we sleep? At least 6 hours we sleep, right? So, what about those 6 hours? And that's only 18 hours Krishna conscious, right? Arjuna was 24 hours Krishna conscious. There is a story actually in Padma Purana, very interesting, that Narad Muni, everybody knows Narad Muni, that he wanted to visit Arjuna and in his palace. You see, Arjuna's palace is humongous. It's a huge palace, huge marble pillars, and his bedroom itself is at least 10,000 square feet. It's huge, and the floor is so clean and shiny you can see your face in it. And he was just walking into the bedroom door, beautiful, this bed all the way in the distance and made of solid gold, and silk sheets and everything, and he's seeing that Arjuna is taking rest. But as he approaches closer and closer to the bed of Arjuna, he hears some sound coming from Arjuna. And wondering what is this? So he comes closer and closer still, and he comes just a few inches close to Arjuna's body. And he hears Krishna, 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 Krishna. Now Arjuna's mouth is not moving. He hears this from the tips of Arjuna's hairs. He hears it coming out from the pores of his skin. That's how much absorbed Arjuna is in Krishna. That's why Krishna spoke to Arjuna. There's no other reason. Arjuna's confusion in the battlefield was actually a part of a play that Krishna put him in that kind of forgetfulness so that he could spread this message to the whole world. But Arjuna is so absorbed in Krishna that every inch, every pore of his body is just thinking Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So Narad Muni was astonished. So we can see how absorbed Arjuna must have been in the thought of love of Krishna and always serving Krishna, how to serve him. So now the point that is made by Krishna is that this Gita, that message that he's given, cannot be understood by a common person. It can only be understood by someone who is very dear to Krishna, someone devoted to Krishna. See, those who are, the most amount of people in this world are completely absorbed in this consciousness that I am this body. And happiness can be found by satisfying this body and the senses. Those people are not qualified to understand Bhagavad-gita. They may try. In fact, if you look at a lot of versions of Gita that's found in the market today, in English or whatever language, especially in English, you'll find at least 150 versions that you can go out and buy. Each of them have commentaries. But I can tell you that this is the only one that is worth reading. And I'm telling you this without any ego or anything like that, because it's very simple logic. Krishna says that you have to be devotee to understand this. Now if I put those 100 Bhagavad-gitas on a table and I ask you choose which one you should read, a common man wouldn't know. Why should I pick this one? Just because it says as it is, I should pick it? No. Common man will not know. You have to know how to judge. See, if you're going to buy some gold in the market, you have to know what gold is. So, even if you have no knowledge of Gita, at least open each version and see what Krishna is saying and see what the commentary is saying. If the Krishna is saying that surrender unto me, but the commentator says, no, Krishna does not mean surrender unto me, it says surrender unto Krishna's kidney or lungs. Or, yes, he says something like that. Krishna is something unborn within Krishna. What is that? Kidney, lung, what is that? It's completely bogus. You're contradicting what Krishna is saying. That is why as it is. Prabhupada's purports, they reinforce what Krishna is saying. Krishna says, surrender unto me. Prabhupada says, yes, me means Krishna. Not that K means something, R means something, S means something. Or some other commentator will say, Krishna means black. Black means all the colors. All colors means nothing. Nothing means everything. So all of us are nothing. I'm serious. I've seen commentators like that, and people take this very seriously. And that is big misfortune of the misuse of Bhagavad-gita. Therefore, any Bhagavad-gita that is not following what Krishna is saying, it's only good for burning in the fire in the kitchen. So, Bhagavad-gita as it is should be taken. Now, Prabhupada is presenting and reinforcing what Krishna is saying. But that's just not enough. See, to present Krishna's message, you have to understand it. And what is the qualification again to understand? You have to be a devotee, 24 hours absorbed in Krishna. See, so now I'll talk a little bit about Srila Prabhupada. For those of us who may not be familiar, or even those of us who are familiar, it's always nice to glorify the pure devotee of the Lord, especially considering that he was only here very recently, and what he's accomplished is quite astonishing. He will be talked about for at least 10,000 years from now. When we are very close to a building, we cannot see how big it is. If you step away, 100 years from now, people will realize what great thing Prabhupada has done. We are so close in time to something that's so great, it boggles our mind. We do not appreciate what Prabhupada has done for us. So I'll just talk a little bit about what Prabhupada has done and who he is. So His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, he was born in the house of a pure devotee of Krishna. So right from the beginning, he practiced pure bhakti. His father Gaura one day used to come home from his business and he used to offer arti, and Prabhupada would be absorbed, even as a little child, watching that arti ceremony. And as he grew up, he learned, he got educated, and he became a householder. And then he met his spiritual master, Prabhupada's spiritual master, His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. And in the very first meeting, Prabhupada was just sitting and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was giving the lecture. And he just pointed, you, yes you, Prabhupada looked like, you, why don't you preach this message of Gita to the English-speaking world? You're educated. He didn't even introduce himself, who are you, nothing. You, that's all he said. But Prabhupada was so touched and he gave his life. He said, that moment of my life, I said, this is my spiritual master. And he took that instruction upon himself as the mission of his life. He was already absorbed in Krishna consciousness from his youth and from his childhood. But now he has got a spiritual master to guide him and tell him what to do. So he's taken that as an acharya himself. He's showing us how to dedicate your life to the instruction of your spiritual master. So now his every moment was spent in thinking how to fulfill his Guru's order, to spread this message all over the world. And then later on in his life, what happened is that he would publish these essays, brilliant essays on God consciousness. And he started this Back to God magazine in 1944. And he would go from door to door, person to person, trying to convince all his fellow Indian people that you turn to Krishna. Why are you becoming materialistic? Our heritage is so rich, so deep. Why are you becoming clouded in your intelligence? But the people were so ignorant. They were so absorbed in this idea that the only way we can advance is to increase our material facilities. There's industrial revolution taking place, and even the political leaders were saying that self-realization cannot happen without industrialization. Very famous politicians said that. They would say that factory is temple, compressor is shalagram, and crude oil is chanamrit. That became the slogan. So that was degrading the people so much, it's turning people into donkeys. And Prabhupada was trying to tell them that, look, live simply, think highly, and worship the Lord. Why are you making yourself more miserable than you have to be? But because people faces will not turn to the east, the faces will turn to the west. See, the sun rises in the east, that's where knowledge comes from. But everybody's looking to America and Europe, where the ignorance comes from. So then Prabhupada said, the only way I can do this is I will go to the west. I will go to the west, make Westerners into devotees of Krishna, and then only these people listen. Now I can guarantee you, most of us sitting here were impressed by the fact that these Westerners had taken up Krishna consciousness. I know for myself that my heart was changed, because if these people who I'm trying to imitate have taken this so seriously, they've shaved their heads, they've given up all bad habits that they've been so used to for many generations. They've dedicated their life to Krishna consciousness. And here I am from the background of India, but not taking to this God consciousness. The Prabhupada's method worked. But the way he did it, obviously, is quite astonishing also. He came to America in 1965 at the age of 70. Now, at the age of 70, most of us tend to retire, or already retired by then. And we don't want to move to a country where we don't know the language. We don't know the people. It's a completely different foreign country. We don't even know what kind of food we're going to get. Imagine that. At such an old age. He had no money also. He came with 40 rupees. That's nothing. Of course, that time you could buy something for 40 rupees. Now it's nothing. But from that point, he built this tremendous ISKCON movement in only 12 years. At the same time, he was traveling around the world. At the same time, he was writing. He was 24 hours Krishna conscious. His disciples would say, Prabhupada practically did not even sleep. Because during the day he was traveling and preaching and speaking and managing the movement. All kinds of problems coming. People are trying to steal money from the movement. So he would try to manage that. Building temples, building so many different facilities, making life members. At night writing books. There were more than 100 volumes he wrote in 12 years. And that's in itself so astonishing. He practically slept only 1 or 2 hours. And even that wasn't really sleeping. This is the testimony of his disciples. So, he awoke thousands and thousands of people from all cultural backgrounds and languages to their eternal relationship with Krishna. So today this Bhagavad-gita as it is, because of Prabhupada's efforts, is the most widely read version in the world. Most people there's no other version of Bhagavad-gita that's more printed even than this Bhagavad-gita as it is. So now in this same chapter that we are discussing, chapter 18, in verse 69, Krishna says that there is nobody more dear to me in this world. And there will never be anybody more dear to me in this world than that person who explains this secret of Bhagavad Gita to the people. That's not a small statement. There's no one more dear to me now, and there'll never be anybody more dear to me than this one who spread Krishna. Now, who has done this more successfully? And then why is there any need for any other version? Why is there any need for any other shelter? There's no need. It's such an obvious thing. You're comparing one grain with a mountain. It's impossible. Prabhupada's success is like a huge mountain. Anybody else is like a grain in front of his success, his purity. So we should take shelter. He's built this huge house which everybody can live in. If you have a 10,000 square foot house, you can only have maybe so many people living in there. But this is a special house. When more people come in, it starts growing. So this is a beautiful house. But Prabhupada, whenever he was praised, whenever he said, Swamiji, you have accomplished so much, he would always bow his head and say, this is only due to the mercy of my Guru Maharaj. If it wasn't for him, I can't take any credit because I have no qualification. Can you imagine his humility? At the same time, he was very humble, but he was also very confident. He was confident that yes, I have the full support of my Guru Maharaj behind me. I have the full support and spiritual strength that Lord Krishna has given me, and I will do it. This is a very interesting story. I don't know if it's not very commonly known, but this Prabhupada, when he was a householder, he had a godbrother by the name of Dol Govinda Shastri. Now, Dol Govinda Shastri was a brahmachari, and he would teach Sanskrit to little boys in the same building that Srila Prabhupada was living in, on Sitakant Banerjee Lane in Calcutta. And so one day, this Prabhupada had just come back from his work, and Shri Gauranitai ki, Shri Prabhupada ki. So Srila Prabhupada had just come back from his work, and it was evening time, and Dol Govind Shastri had just finished giving classes to the boys in Sanskrit, and he was just coming out. He's a grammatician, he's very smart, and just come out, nice young brahmachari. But they're godbrothers, so they're very good friends. Prabhupada is sitting outside on the steps chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. On his beats, he would chant. And Dol Govind Shastri came and said, Abhay Babu, Bhakti Vinod Thakur has said that Russians, Prussians, Germans and French and Englishmen, they will get together and they'll raise their arms and say, Jai Sachinandan Prabhu ki Jai, and they would say Hare Krishna, and they would say Gaur Nitai. He was just saying it, but it sounded like a question. And Prabhupada just looked at him. Dol Govind Shastri said, Russians and French? And then Prabhupada said, why? You have doubt? Oh, no. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, so I have no doubt, but how? How is that possible? We have a hard time convincing these Indians what to speak of French and German and Russians. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said it will happen. But, how is this going to happen? Then Prabhupada, he closed his eyes and he said, some surrendered fool who is a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta, he will do it. And then he turned around and started going in this building. And Dol Govind just wondering. Then Prabhupada turned around again and he said, not you. Now see, Lord Govinda Shastri was a grammatician. And grammaticians have a big problem. They analyze everything very detailed, especially when you use certain words. And the way Prabhupada used the word you, he used it in plural. He says, not you all. Not you all means among his disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta. Not you all means me. Not you means me. So then this Lord Govinda Shastri's head was all spinning and he says, Abhay Babu! This man, and he went home and he couldn't even sleep that night. It's like a big vision of universal form, you know. And he said, this man who's running back and forth at Madras trying to get some pharmaceuticals, making this pain liniment, days pain liniment for people with arthritis. But what's he going to do? He's going to make these French people devotees? These Russians, these Americans? No. So he lost sleep for a couple of days. Because Prabhupada, the way he speaks, he goes straight to the heart. But it's unbelievable. So then years passed. And what had happened is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had left this world. And his movement, the Gaudiya Math, began to splinter a little bit, started falling apart and getting different branches. And so this Lord Govinda Shastri, he didn't want to get involved in politics. So he left the movement. But he was still practicing Krishna consciousness. He got married and everything. And he was teaching at a university. And he didn't want to talk too much with these political Gaudiya Math people. Sometimes when a Gaudiya Math person would be passing on the street, he would just go up to a panwala, bidi. He would get a bidi. It's like a cigarette. And he would just pretend that he's going to start smoking it. So then this Gaudiya Math sannyasi would avoid him. And then when the sannyasi is gone, then he'd throw the bidi and do achman. Wash his mouth with some and wash his hands. And so that way he avoided all his politics. But he was always thinking, what's going to happen to a Krishna consciousness movement? Then one day he was teaching in Cuttack. Cuttack is a town, where is it? Is it in Odisha? Odisha, right? Yeah. And it's a very crowded place, Cuttack, especially these rickshaws where people, they pull the rickshaws and people are sitting in the back. So the streets are just filled with rickshaws. So one day he was just crossing the street in Cuttack, and on one of these rickshaws, he saw a big white man. Now it's not amazing to see white people in India, but this white man had a shaved head. And he had a shikha like a Vaishnava. Not only shikha, but he had a Gaudiya tilak. And he was wearing Gaudiya, Bengali dress with a dhoti and kurta. And he had neck beads. And he was sitting, being pulled on the rickshaw. And he was amazed. He just jumped from where he was sitting and he ran towards him and stopped the rickshawala. He said, Tilak, shikha, neck beads, who are you? And he couldn't even speak, he was just choking up. He was so amazed that a white person, a Westerner, had become a devotee of Krishna. And this white person, this American man, he said, I am the disciple of Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtotar Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Now he couldn't get any of that. Prabhupada? I've heard of Prabhupada. What is Prabhupada? So he couldn't understand. Who is that? Then this devotee pulled out a Back to Godhead magazine. He said, this is Srila Prabhupada. Before he could show it, he said, he's a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he opened the page and he saw, oh, Abhay Babu! Abhay Babu, you did it! And he was crying with tears of joy. And then he told him, he started shaking him. He said, not you! He said, not you! And this devotee couldn't figure out what he's saying, not you. When did he learn Sanskrit? When did he go to America? And then this white devotee asked, this is actually Bhagavad Das. Anybody know Bhagavad Das? Yeah, Bhagavad Prabhu. This is Bhagavad Prabhu. That happened to him. And so they asked him, who is this? Who are you? And he said, I am a disciple of Thakur Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Oh, Jai. And then Bhagavad Das came off the rickshaw and fell straight down, gave him obeisances, offered obeisances. By this time, there was a big traffic jam because in the middle of the road, both of them, it's completely forgotten the rest of the world. So Prabhupada was so confident, even at that time in his life, that yes, he will have the full support of Krishna. He will have the full support of his Guru Maharaj when he needs it. All he has to do is just keep that mission in his heart. So, now Prabhupada is a pure devotee. He came to this world actually just to deliver us fallen souls. Deliver what? Deliver the pure message of God. So now it is up to all of us. You see, we are his legacy. Anybody who has come into contact with Krishna consciousness and Bhagavad-gita bears the burden of responsibility to continue this legacy as much as we can. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Lord Krishna himself, he predicted, Prithivitya ache jotto nagor adigram, Sharvata pata hoibe morna. It means prithivite ache, in the whole prithvi, on the whole planet. Joto nagar adigram. That every town and village, sarvatra prachar hoibe morna. Everywhere the chanting of my name will be spread. In every town and village. See, at that time they thought that whole world means only India. It's impossible to go to the rest of the world. But Srila Prabhupada did it. If he wanted, he could have stayed in Calcutta, relaxed, retired, surrounded by little grandchildren, saying da 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 da. No. Most people tend to do that. When I say Prithvi Charya, other people would have said, maybe someone else who knows this, he would have said, Mahaprabhu bole achan hoye jabe. Mahaprabhu has said, so it's going to happen. But no, Prabhupada said, no. Where is my P-form? Why is my passport not ready yet? I have to go. At that age of 70, he was running around back and forth trying to get his passport done so he could preach in Krishna consciousness in the world. He came here by boat, he hitchhiked a ride. Hitchhikers on the street, they get a free ride. It's pretty much that's what he did. He got a free ride on a boat. It wasn't even for passengers. It was a cargo ship. He got 2 heart attacks on the way here. Still, he was determined to come. So if he can do it at that age, why should we all not take up that responsibility and continue to whatever capacity that we have, especially coming from the background, of the Vedic culture. So we should try to spread this Bhagavad-gita. So the Lord has made the prediction that it will happen all over the world. So it will happen. But it's up to us whether to take the credit or to give the credit to somebody else. Let somebody else say it. So why not we take the credit? It's going to happen. We can become the instrument of the Lord and try to spread it. So we can serve and we can also become very dear to Krishna. But Krishna says nobody is more dear to me than one who discusses this message. So just like Arjuna, 24 hours, we can become Krishna conscious. Prabhupada actually was also Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. There is another interesting story of Prabhupada that he had gathered all his senior disciples. The movement had grown quite considerably at this point in time. It was maybe 74 or 75, something like that. And a lot of management needed to be done. A lot of books were being printed. A lot of buildings were going up. A lot of facilities were constructed. And he had all these senior men, this is in India, maybe Bombay, and some other devotees and also guests had come, they were sitting. And Prabhupada was discussing with some men that how much money will be needed for this printing of this version of Bhagavad-gita, 10,000 copies we need. How much money we'll need for this particular temple, how many bricks we'll need, we need to order the cement from this person, let's not get cheated. So he was talking for like 20 minutes like that, all business management, this and that. And one man stood up from the crowd. He challenged directly, Swamiji, I don't think you are a devotee of Krishna. And people were wondering, what is this? This man is making some disturbance, let's just kick him out. But this was an important man, he was not just ordinary. He was actually an industrialist. And he's saying, I don't think that you even care about Krishna. All you want to do is bricks and money and management. That is what I do all day. I came here to listen to some katha, some name of Krishna, maybe some bhajan or some philosophy, but all you are doing in the last half an hour, you've been just talking bricks and books and money. I don't think you are a devotee at all. Prabhupada just calmly nodded and he just told him to come here. And Prabhupada took his shirt off. He put his shirt on the side and he said, you put your ear to my back. This man, okay, whatever. He was still challenging, but he listened to Prabhupada. He put his ear to Srila Prabhupada's back, like how a doctor listens, inside the lungs. And Prabhupada kept on talking to his disciples about books and cement and steel. And after about a minute and a half, this man got up and his face was covered in tears. And he fell down at Prabhupada's feet and said, Swamiji, please forgive me. You are the greatest devotee of Krishna. You are the pure devotee of Krishna. I take back all my words. If you can find your heart to forgive me, please forgive me. And then he turned around and told everybody else, when I listened to Swamiji's back, all I heard was Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki! So you can see that this is not a made-up story. It's actually happened. People have had many experiences like this that are quite amazing. Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee of Krishna. Let us all try in whatever capacity that we can take up this mission of spreading Krishna consciousness to even one other person in our lifetime. If we can do that, that would be a great service. What to speak of hundreds of people? The Srila Prabhupada did thousands and thousands. Just by desiring and looking at them, they all became devotees. So much effort he's given us. Let's not ruin the legacy by being lazy or being complacent. Whatever we can, even if it's a little bit. If we cannot do direct preaching one-to-one, then let us support in whatever we can the movement that is trying to push this. Because Prabhupada has predicted, actually Lord Chaitanya has predicted that within this Kali Yuga, there is going to be 10,000 years of golden age, Satya Yuga. And that Satya Yuga has just started with the movement of Krishna consciousness. And Satya Yuga is going to be pushed by the members of Krishna consciousness movement. And members of who? That's us, all of us. All of us who are here, we are very fortunate to be here. It is not a small thing that we are here in this temple. We could have been elsewhere. At this time, we could be doing something else. To be in this place, you need to have accumulated a lot of punya, a lot of pious credit. Thousands and thousands of years worth of pious credit just to stay here. And then on top of that, chant Krishna's name. So let us not underestimate the value of what we have. Very valuable. We have a human life. We are in a situation physically right now that is a Krishna conscious temple. Let us take this Krishna conscious mood and mold our life so that we can always think of Krishna and try to think on how we can support Krishna conscious movement. So, just in summary, in Bhagavad-gita, the philosophy is that all of us, each and every one of us, including even the ants and the trees, all the living entities, have an eternal relationship with Krishna. This is very important to know. The relationship is eternal because the soul is eternal and Krishna is eternal. And Krishna, being the source of everybody, is automatically a relationship. Now the relationship is that everybody is a servant of God. In different flavors and capacities and mellows, but servant nevertheless. You can be a servant in friendship, you can be a servant as you can serve Krishna as a direct servant, you can be a parent of Krishna, like that. There's 5 verses. So we are all eternally we have eternal relationship with Krishna, but we have forgotten it. Just like fire is covered by smoke, we are all covered by some depth of forgetfulness. So to revive this relationship, we have to follow the process. And the process is called Krishna consciousness. The process in the age of Kali Yuga, which is the age we are in, is chanting of the name of God. Very simple to do. You do not need anybody, you do not need anything, you do not need any money. You just need to vibrate the sound with our body. So it goes like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So to revive our original consciousness, we should follow this process of devotional service and bhakti. The bhakti actually has 9 processes. Anybody know the 9 processes? The first one is Shravana. Shravana means to hear. So when someone is saying something, we hear. So when someone is saying the name of Krishna, we hear. Then when you hear, then you try to say it. So when you hear the name of Krishna, then you learn, okay, now it goes like Hare Krishna. Okay, I'll try to say it. So then you do Kirtan. Kirtan is actually saying it. So Shravana, Kirtanam. And then when you're constantly saying something, then naturally you tend to remember it. So what's it? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Smaranam means to remember, right? And then Archana. Pada-sevanam. Pada-sevanam means to serve the feet, the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. The next one is Archanam. Archanam means to serve the Lord's form. Archa Vigraha. The Lord has a form. It's not impersonal. Lord is a person. So we serve His form. Then Vandanam. Vandanam means to pray to the Lord. You open your heart and you pray. What's the next one? Dasyam. Dasyam is the basis of all service. Dasyam means to be a servant. To serve. Sakhyam. See, you not only serve, but Krishna says, because you are my devotee and you are my friend. Right? Bhaktosime sakha chayati. Sakha means friend. So Sakhyam. Naturally the friendship develops. Then Atma Nivedanam. That's the final, right? Atma Nivedanam means Atma is ourself and Nivedanam means surrender. So when you follow all those processes, the natural consequence means when you're fully absorbed in love, you'll surrender everything, including yourself, to Krishna. And we have examples of great people who have performed each one of these very well in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so I encourage everybody to try to understand Bhagavad-gita as it is. It's very basic as well as it also covers everything that needs to be known. Krishna, there's a verse in there that says, after knowing this, there's nothing more to be known. Doesn't mean we cannot read the Bhagavatam and everything else, but this covers everything in existence. Everything that exists, this world is accounted for in Srimad Bhagavad-gita. This is the essence of all knowledge, and the conclusion is that you surrender unto me and worship me. And that way you'll come to me, because we're all eternally related. So, Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. Sambandha means we have an eternal relationship. Abhideya means the process. Process is chanting and bhakti, all the 9 steps that we talked about. And then Prayojan. Prayojan means the result. What is the result? Krishna Prema. The love of God, which is actually not something that's given to us. It is something that's natural within us. It's something that we already have. This knowledge of Krishna consciousness, love of God. All the knowledge in Bhagavatam is already there in our hearts. We just have to uncover it. It's covered by ignorance. It's not that I'm teaching you something new when I read this out and you hear it. It's not something new. All of us have this knowledge because we are eternally related. It's in seed form, completely covered by our ignorance because we turned away from Krishna. It's like a brass pot. Brass pot, if it's sitting on a shelf, it turns black. Then if I go to buy it and say that's not a very nice pot, well, how come this other pot looks so nice and shiny? So then the guy shopkeeper will take out just put a little polish and scrub it and see? It's not that he painted it shiny. He just took off the covering, just a thin layer of ignorance on there. Otherwise, the love of God is inherent in us. So, the goal is to re-establish the love of God. And that's actually the platform of happiness. Therefore, a pure devotee can never be unhappy. It's not possible. Pure devotee is so transcendental to the material platform that nothing that anybody can do to that person can make him irritated or unhappy. Never. Because he's fully absorbed. He's not on the bodily platform at all. So I encourage you that please take up this process in all seriousness. I'm sure all of us spend enough time talking to ourselves. Try to put this in that conversation. What should I do today? Yeah, Gita, that's good. That's a nice thing to do. You can read it. Chant Hare Krishna. When I'm shaving, I'm thinking what I'm going to do today. We always talk to ourselves. Don't deny it anybody. I know all of you do it. Okay? Whether you say it aloud or not. Sometimes some people start saying it aloud and, did I say that loud or was I thinking in my head? Sometimes they don't know. But all of us talk to ourselves and we're constantly trying to convince ourselves what is better for us. And actually what happens is that within our subtle body there's different levels. There's the mind, intelligence, and the ego. The mind likes to do things that feel good. The intelligence like to do things for the goal. If the goal for me is to make $10 million, then I have to override the mind and say work 20 hours a day like a donkey. Only then I'll make $10 million. See, so the mind is saying, relax. The goal is saying, the intelligence is saying, the goal is 10 million, so you got to work hard. So then you don't sleep, you work. So you're overriding the mind. So if you're using intelligence to get those kind of goals, just shift our intelligence a little bit and try to be more Krishna conscious. Override the impulse of the mind to do things that are very comfortable, like sleeping 12 hours a day. See, anybody who wants to accomplish anything has to override impulses of things that are nice and feel good. See, even if you're a Nobel Prize winner, if you're an Olympic athlete, anybody who has any decent goals, they have to override the impulse of the mind. So if you keep constantly talking to yourself, I'm going to win that swimming competition, so I have to watch my diet, I have to practice 10 hours a day. Those kind of goals, people praise them. And why not this? This is the highest goal. Let us understand this goal and take it up seriously. When we talk to ourselves, say that I have to be serious about my Krishna consciousness. This human life is very rare. I don't know how many years I have left. Just because I'm very young doesn't mean I'm going to live forever. Just because I'm old and I've lived so long doesn't mean I'm going to live another 40 years. It's no guarantee. Nobody knows how long they're going to live. So human life is rare. Life is unpredictable. I have this chance to chant. I can chant anywhere at any time. Why not do it? Chant Hare Krishna between breaths even. So it's very simple. Age of Kali, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And please continue to participate in this Krishna consciousness movement. And I guarantee, what is my guarantee? It's no value, but there is a guarantee of the Lord. Okay? The guarantee of the Lord is there that He'll bless you with the highest goal of life. Highest goal of life, love of God, re-established with Krishna. So I want to thank you all very much for hearing me. And I'll go Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If anybody has any questions, related to this or even not related to this, I will dare to answer them, or if I cannot answer them, I will ask our senior devotees here to help me out. See, I don't know that much, but there's always people here who know quite a bit.
Love with the gopi.
What's that?
Love with the gopi as the Vrindavan, Gopi Krishna love. That can be defined in that way also.
Yes, the gopis' love for Krishna. Gopis are eternally related to Krishna, like all of us, but they are 24 hours absorbed in Krishna. And that love is considered the purest and the highest. That is called Mahabhav. That's called the Bhav of the gopis, is the highest love that anybody can have for Krishna. So yes, they are considered the topmost servants of Krishna. See, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Krishna himself, and he came to teach us how to be a devotee. And he said that I am not a sannyasi, I am not a grihastha, I am not a vanaprastha, I am not a brahman, kshatriya, vaishya, I am not any of these. What I am is Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayo Das Das Das. Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayo. That means I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the master of the gopis. See, so that relationship with the Lord and the gopis is very, very intimate, and it's the highest love of God. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody else? Alright, maybe I'll give a quiz then. Alright, does anybody know what year Srila Prabhupada was born? 1896, right? That's a while ago. And this year is what? 2004. So that's 108 years since Srila Prabhupada was born. So this year actually is very significant. 108th birthday of Srila Prabhupada, his appearance day. See, in our Vedic system, the year 100 doesn't have that much significance, but the number 108 has a lot of significance. So this is the 108th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's birth. And so it can be a nice offering for all of us to make some kind of New Year's or annual resolution that yes, I will give myself, put double effort this time to try to spread Krishna consciousness movement for Srila Prabhupada as my gift to him on 108th anniversary. Because see, 108th anniversary is not going to come next year. It's not going to come again. It's the only one. And you can celebrate it all year until next Janmashtami. The Prabhupada's appearance anniversary is the day after Janmashtami. So all the way up till next Janmashtami, we have that much time to dedicate ourselves. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, We wake up in the morning, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. That much we do. It's a nice offering. And then it puts our consciousness in that mood that yes, I should do something on Srila Prabhupada today. I will tell somebody who doesn't know much, or who doesn't come in contact. I'll tell them, you should try to read this. Or I'll tell myself, you should try to read this. Even that much. That's a nice offering we can do to Srila Prabhupada. It's the 108th anniversary. Then, does anybody know when Srila Prabhupada met his spiritual master? What year? 1922. 1922. And what year he got initiated? 33. And what year Back to God magazine started? Does anybody see a pattern here? What year he took sannyas? 55. What year he came to America? 66. What year he left the planet? 77. Every 11 years something significant happened to Srila Prabhupada. So 1977. That's my son Madhava. There you go. So Srila Prabhupada, actually, we should try to glorify Srila Prabhupada as much as we can, because there's nothing we can do that can glorify him enough. We realize more and more his greatness as time passes. But his disappearance anniversary was just last Monday, I believe. And so we should observe, his appearance and his disappearance with equal vigor and energy. And just try to understand. I would encourage everybody actually, before if you're new, before you start even Bhagavad-gita as it is, I would encourage you to read Srila Prabhupada's biography. There's many biographies available written by his disciples and his pastimes. And you'll see how great he is, what he's accomplished in such a short time, the troubles he had to face. And we'll realize that if this person can do this, we should also do something. Because if we just try to save even ourselves, that'll be to Prabhupada's credit. So let's keep adding his credit and try to change our own lives by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Hare Krishna. I guess we're out of time now.